All right, Top Notch Talk, Week 6, here with Coach Brandon Smith. Big win against Hopkinsville this past week, 33-21. It was obviously a pretty odd game this week, multiple weather delays and hours of waiting to play. When you're in a game like this, what do you and your staff try to prioritize to keep it as simple as possible and for the kids to still focus on the game?
I will say this: we've had, two weather delays this year that have been pretty significant, pretty long, and whatever I'm doing, it's not working. I don't know if there's like a clinic in the off season or a book or something to how to work on weather delays, but we do not handle it well. But in all seriousness, though, I've always thought that kids and players tend to take on the demeanor and mentality of their coach or coaches. And I'm a very routine guy. I got a little OCD in me, so I'm very structured. So if I get off of a plan or a routine, I struggle. And I think our kids are the same way. If we get off of a routine or the plan and what we normally do, the structure, then we kind of struggle to regroup. And I think that's been the case in both games. I think we really got thrown off. I, for one, had no idea. I thought it was going to be a nice night. I had zero idea that we pulled up and I saw the dark clouds and I was like, what's that? There was no, prep for those kids. I didn't give them a fair warning or anything. And so everything kind of got thrown off. And I think they struggled to really overcome that and recover from that.
So offense side of the ball, 286 total yards, 115 rush yards, 171 pass yards. Justin Capps had a big game this week, totaling 3 receptions for 102 yards, 1 touchdown. Caden York, talk about him quite a bit on the show, with another big game totaling 85 yards, 16 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Up until this game this week, the offense was averaging about 25 pass attempts per game, and this week there were only 16 pass attempts. Was this part of the plan going into the game, or did weather affect that?
No, I think just kind of the way the game plan played out, it was raining there for the first time we started, so that played a little bit of a factor, and it wasn't necessarily a game plan decision. It's just kind of the way the flow of the game went, and offensively, it wasn't our best week. I thought our production was kind of low. We just could not seem to get in a rhythm, and that's big offensively is when you can get in a rhythm. But I do think, you brought up Justin Capps. He had a really nice game, made some really nice plays, some big plays and big moments. I thought Griffin Reynolds kind of did the same thing. And then, Caden's Caden. He always runs hard. You can always count on him.
So defense side of the ball, 306 total yards, 98 rush yards, 208 pass yards, 1 sack, 6 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, and 6 pass breakups. Joseph Fentress had 3 pass breakups. Caden York with an interception. Zay Bridges with an interception and pass breakup. Drayson Moore had 10 tackles. Griffin Reynolds had 5 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. During the game, I know they had their running back lining up in the Wildcat some, and they had some success doing that. Watching film this past week, is that something y'all knew they were going to do, or did it kind of throw you off? Did y'all game plan for it? And as a defensive coaching staff, how do you slow that down when they are having success with that?
Yeah, I think we, defensively, I think we were kind of confused. They added a couple wrinkles, and we just didn't do a really nice job of adjusting to it. And, whenever you play confused defensively, you're going to play slow. And when you play slow, you're in a lot of trouble, So I thought that was kind of, pretty much sums up the game defensively is we weren't real confident in what we were doing, and that caused us to play a little bit slower than what we usually do. And then they did a really nice job. The offense coordinator over there is Craig Clayton, and he's a legendary high school football coach. He's as good as they come, and I thought he did a really nice job with the schemes and things he was doing, and it allowed us to look at some things, and and that's what this time of year is about, is finding some things we need to do a little bit differently and shore up, and so we won't use it as a learning experience and something we can get better with.
One thing we haven't talked about a whole lot this year is special teams. There were 2 blocked punts, one by TK Darden and one by Cole Helton. There's also a kickoff return for a touchdown by Zay Bridges. Like you said earlier, when you don't really have a pace on offense, or you can't get into a rhythm on offense, How big of a factor do special teams play in a game like that?
I think the last 2 weeks the special teams have really played well, and they came up big Friday, like you said. We had the kickoff return. We had a really nice return on the one before that, and then the two blocked punts. One of those was a quick kick. We blocked a quick kick, so that was a good adjustment. Defensively that they made. But yeah, I mean that definitely helped us out. We got some points, got some short fields to work with. That's a big thing whenever you're not in a rhythm on offense.
Upcoming game this week's Pulaski County with a 4-1 record, coming off of a 50-30 loss to Johnson Central. What's your expectations this week?
Pulaski County is a really good team. I told the kids I don't know if they're the most talented team that we've played. Manual has unbelievable talent, and so do other teams. But I'm not so sure they're not the best team we've played. I think they really got some good team cohesion and chemistry. They know what they do. They lean on what they do. They're really good at it. I mean, they're just a physical, smash mouth, downhill type team. They play the same way defensively. They're going to be really physical, really aggressive, and they're very situationally aware offensively and defensively. Really impressed with those guys, and we're going there. I told the kids, this week that I think it's going to be our toughest test yet. So I'm excited for it. You like games like this where you're going to get challenged, and I think the kids are too.
So this week's top-notch fan question of the week: being halfway through the season, is a team where you'd like them to be through 6 weeks, and what improvements do you think need to be made?
Yeah, I think. Obviously, anytime that you can be undefeated and not have any losses, you're going to be happy. But I'm the type that's always, looking to see what we can improve on. And there's definitely some things, just really kind of the overall maturity of the team. Be able to handle, things like Friday night and experiences like that. And I think we're still growing in those areas. I think we're still growing in our leadership. But where we're at right now is a good place. I think the second half of the season is really going to kind of tell the tale of the dynamic and the team makeup and the team chemistry. But we're in a good place, but we definitely got some things we got to improve on.
Top-notch players of the week. These two kids had big weeks. Justin Capps on the offensive side of the ball, 3 receptions, 102 yards, 34 yards per catch, and 1 touchdown. And then not really a defensive player of the game, more of a special teams player of the game. Alen Alic had a 20-yard field goal, a 37-yard field goal, as well as a long point after attempt. Speak on what stood out to you from this past game about these two.
Yeah, like I said, I think Justin he's one of those guys he's a really good player and he's very capable, and you kind of waiting for him to have a breakout game, and I think he finally did, and I think that'll help his confidence. But he's an outstanding player, and I'm glad that everybody else finally got to see a little bit of what I've been seeing in practice for a while. And then Alen had a heck of a game. We brought up special teams, but he had 2 field goals. One was pretty long. He had a PAT where we got a couple penalties, and it was a big PAT. Did a nice job on our kickoffs, and I know that's something that not everybody sees, but I mean, when you got a good kicker, you got an advantage, and right now we got a good one, and he's playing really well.
Well, that wraps up week 6 of the Coaches Show. Make sure you're liking the post, sharing the post for a chance to win the free mini split. Also, submit fan questions of the week to win a $10 7 Brew gift card.